Hello and welcome to Advent of Code in Random Programming Languages, day number 2. Yesterday we did day 1 in JavaScript. It was pretty straightforward, no big issues there. It did take me a little bit longer than I would have wanted to, but that's alright. Day 2, we're going to get one of these lovely languages. We have some normal-ish ones like these. Pascal, not that normal, but hey. And then some not so normal ones like these, also some normal ones down here. I just randomly noticed a lot of the really weird ones are in the bottom, but it's randomized every time, so we have no idea what we're going to get, and we're going to have to solve day 2. And I really hope we don't get certain ones, because I'm not really set up to to do Holy C, for example. I need to actually set up my Temple OS VM a little bit better in order to facilitate doing this. So I would have to spend like hours if I got this one. So let's not do that. Let's do some shuffling. Of course, this gives us better luck if we do this. Obviously, I want one like I don't want a super hard one, but I don't want something super easy. I would rather have something super easy later. Elixir. Okay, I'm so down for Elixir. Let's go. Okay. Also, I should remove the second half of the days since we're not going to use them. I'll do that later. So Elixir, right here. This is in current languages. It is used. So we are now doing Elixir day 02. All right. Elixir learn X in Y. Let's try that. Okay, so we can have tuples, we can have numbers, we can have okay, so it's a function to access them. This is, of course, a functional language. We need to access the head and tail of the list as follows. Okay. I assume it's untyped. Or not strongly typed, that is. If I remember correctly. Concatenate lists, use plus plus for binaries, use... Okay. Okay. Ranges are represented as start to end. Okay, there's ranges. You can have maps of key value pairs with a percent. Interesting. And you can use atoms. Okay, so atoms can just be declared anywhere, and you can use an atom to okay, so they're just like labels, kind of like a Lisp thing. We have some math operators. Division always returns a float, or division integer has a function. There's a remainder function as well, so we can use that instead of modulus. Or and not, and they're spelled out. Okay. It also provides the C-like Boolean. Okay, so I mean, this is kind of like a JavaScript triple equals, right? I don't know. We'll see. Let's get the problem going. Or here, let's figure out this first. Elixir create project, or like get started Elixir, and let's see what the handy dandy package manager has for Elixir. It has nothing about Elixir. Okay. Wait, really? Did I just spell it wrong? Oh, there's an I there. Okay, there you go. So we do have Elixir. So is there just an Elixir package? Why do I keep spelling it without the second I? Okay, there is just an Elixir package. Okay, let's see what Elixir can provide to us. Okay, find and executes the given script. I don't see necessarily how this runs. Can we get a REPL if we just run it? No. Okay, so it expects a file. Okay, so let's figure out Elixir Hello World. IEX, interactive Elixir. Okay. And then we can say Elixir with a pipe operator, string.graphemes enum.frequencies. I'm not really sure what any of this is doing. Oh, this will return that. Okay. Is that hello world? Yeah, we will see. Fault tolerance, language features. Sure. How do we do Elixir Hello World? Three new commands: IEX, Elixir, and Elixir C. I guess Elixir C is like Elixir compiler or something. Okay, I'm not too sure about this. So here's interactive mode, running scripts. All right. After getting familiar with the basic lines, you might want to try a sample program. This can be accomplished by putting the following Elixir code into a file. EXS is the description. Okay, so let's part 1.exs elixirs or something. I don't know, that's a little bit weird. But let's go in. And actually, we want to do that in here in my Vim. So part 1 dot, please say like, no, that doesn't work in oil. Oil should add that. I'm sure there's like some way to do something like that. And we even got the handy dandy Elixir isms here. We're also going to have input and test inputs. But let's go into this and let's io.puts hello world. Maybe even with a comma. Do we need a new line? Probably not. We probably don't need semicolons either. And then let's try this. Elixir part 1.exs. Hello world from Elixir. Hello world. That was like surprisingly slow. I'm not going to worry about that though. So pretty excellent there. Okay. Well, that was a lot easier than even JavaScript. Now, how do I read a file? IO and file system. Excellent. .get yes or no. Oh, okay. Interesting. The file module. Okay. So okay, file equals file.open. See, this also has to be a file.open test input, comma, read, I assume. So they can be opened with write, append, UTF-8. What about read? Oh, file.read. Okay. That's what we use to read a file. What is this syntax? This is very weird. So it returns an OK and a world. If we put an exclamation mark, it returns the contents of the file, and I assume it raises the error. Yeah, it just discards the error. So if we do that, and then Elixir part 1, it works. Yeah. Okay. Oh, no. There we go. I was doing the same thing again. And then I assume we can io.puts or whatever it was. What was it? Yes, it was io.puts. Like, we can probably say body equals that and then put body or something, right? Yes, that worked, because if we put that in there, yeah. Okay, awesome. Okay, that was a lot easier than JavaScript. I mean, as soon as I used bun with JavaScript, it was about that easy though, so I'm not gonna blame it that much. Just vanilla JavaScript doesn't really have a way to open a file like that, being embedded and all. All right, day 2, the gift shop. You get inside and take the elevator to its only other stop, the gift shop. Thank you for visiting the North Pole, gleefully exclaims a nearby sign. You aren't sure who is even allowed to visit the North Pole, but you know you can access the lobby through here, and from there you can access the rest of the North Pole base. As you make your way through the surprisingly extensive selection, one of the clerks recognizes you and asks you for help. As it turns out, one of the younger elves was playing on the gift shop computer and managed to add a whole bunch of invalid product ideas to their gift shop database. Surely it would be no trouble for you to identify the invalid product IDs for them, right? They've even checked most of the product ID ranges already. They only have a few product ID ranges, your puzzle input, that you'll need to check. For example, okay, it's a bunch of ranges in a CSV. Interesting. The ID ranges are wrapped here for legibility. In your input, they appear on a single long line. Okay. The ranges are separated by commas. Each range gives its first ID and last ID separated by a dash. Since the young elf was just randomly doing silly patterns, you can find the invalid IDs by looking for any ID which is made only of some sequence of digits repeated twice. So 55, 6464, and 123123 would all be invalid IDs. None of the numbers have leading zeros. 0101 isn't an ID at all. 101 is a valid ID that you would ignore. Okay, so you don't have to consider that. Your job is to find all of the invalid IDs that appear in the given ranges. In the above example, 11 to 22 has 2 invalid IDs. This has 1 invalid ID. Oh, and its entire range. Oh. Okay. So we have to figure out a way to mathematically find if 2 things are like that. That's actually pretty hard, I think. At least I have no initial way to solve this, except for to just check every single number in the range, which might be the solution, right? How long is it's not that long. So they might really mean you to check all of them. Let's see. Real input right here. Yeah, it's only 470 characters. It's a lot shorter than many other Advent of Code inputs. So at least my initial reaction is I'm going to check every single number in the range. And I don't really have a nice, yeah, not really sure. But I'll probably just take the number, parse it into a string, and then iterate over it and see if it repeats. I mean, it's kind of hard though. I'm not really sure. I'll have to think about it. But for now, let's just read in the input and try to parse each ID into a separate execution and just kind of execute it like that. We could even try to do it with some Elixir multi-threading or whatever, but I don't really want to go that deep right now. If statements don't have parens, Case allows you to compare a value against patterns, so it's a match statement. Cool. This is multi-assignment. Condition do. Okay, interesting. Square equals fn x, return x times xn squared up 5. Anonymous function. Okay, interesting. Like the function itself is anonymous, but it's assigned to a value. Yeah, of course. Modules. Geometry dot area. Okay, concurrency. Pit equals spawn geometry. Yeah, okay, we could probably do this. I don't know how much time I want to spend on it though. So, but I mean, it would be very easy to do, I think. Okay. So we still have this open, which is fine. So here's the file system. Let's get our test input too. So the test input is here. It's split onto multiple lines, but it's supposed to be on one line. There's no spaces in between commas. Okay, so we can just take this and then split it on commas, etc., etc. We'll figure it out. So part 1, IO puts body. We have the full input there. So instead of that, and also I like how it has this sequential scripting kind of execution that obviously feels very good. Spawn F. Spawn returns a PID. Can use this PID to send messages to the process. Okay, we use the spawn function, which takes a function as argument. So we define a function and then we spawn on that function. And then we receive all of them and put them back in. Okay. I think this, we'll see how easy it is to do. How about that? Okay, first of all, we need to do string manipulation though. String, binary strings and car lists. Okay. Let's see. Unicode encode points, string equals hello, hello is binary string, true. True. Unicode encode points. I'm not too worried about all of this and encoding and stuff. That's not that important. Car lists, I mean, we could put it into a list. I don't think we need to do any of this though. Let's see, is there just like a split? Elixir string methods or functions. I guess functions is probably what they call it. String. Interpolation. Sure. Strings and binary operators. Integer code points. Can split a string into multiple parts. Okay, there we go. So string dot split. So let's say ranges equals string dot split body comma comma. And then let's io dot puts ranges. And I'm surely like everything in the standard library is printable, right? Yes. So I just printed it without the commas, but ranges, how did you print like the type of things again? I saw that in here somewhere. Oh, it's like, yeah, can we, is string or something? Or is that not a thing? Is there like a type of ranges? use no such import. Yeah, I don't know where it would be. But it would be nice to be able to see what, but I assume this is now a, let's see, what does split? Can split a string into multiple strings. A list of strings or a compiled pattern. Sure, but what does it return? It returns an array of t. I assume that's what this syntax is. Okay. So we get back this kind of array. Then how do we loop over that? Can we say like for range in ranges io.puts range? Like, is this valid? What does a for loop look like? I guess I don't even know that. I'm guessing it's actually some kind of do while thing. If false, case do, condition do, try do, square do, function. Right. Loops in Elixir. Loops in Elixir are written differently than imperative languages. Okay, I do kind of get it. But can you not have like ranges.map or something, or like for each or something like we had in JavaScript? That would be very nice. So a loop has to be its own module? Seems very strange. What is the enum.each? I mean, that sounds like what I want. Each ranges, comma fn of range, and this is an anonymous function, and then it becomes io.puts range end. Wait, where's... Yeah. So does that work? Yes, it does. Okay, that works perfectly. So, excellent. So that's getting and putting the range. Now we split on, now we say lower comma upper equals string dot split on, I think this will actually work, on range comma split on dash, and then io dot puts lower comma upper. No. Oh, it's actually mad about puts. The variable upper is unused. Okay. Wow, that was very intuitive. The fact that I could just grab that and it deconstructed the list that it returned and then created a tuple like that, or it split the tuple into two values. Very nice. I'm actually happy and somewhat impressed. So now we have a lower and an upper. What are we going to do with the lower and the upper? So now I have to actually solve the problem. Let's go back to the advent of code. So we have the lower bound, we have the upper bound. We need to figure out if any value between these two numbers, inclusive, repeats any of its digits. I know there is a mathematical, isn't there a math formula that can tell you if it, I think I'm gonna Google it. It's a little bit cheaty, but formula, or like math formula if a number repeats digits. There's like something like this. No, that's not what I want. I don't want repeating decimals. I could have sworn that there's a specific mathematical trick to calculate this, I thought. But I don't know it, so I'm gonna do the stupid solution, I guess. Which is at least check every single number. So then we would do enum.each lower dot dot upper. What am I doing? Upper, and a new function which will take value and do some value stuff on this. And I think we're going to do, I don't know. Hard to say. I think we're going to do, well, let's just put value for now. I think this should compile. No, it doesn't. Expected both sides to be integers. Oh, it's a string. Yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Elixir parse int. Okay, there's a toString. Parse. Parse is a text representation of an integer. Okay. So can we do that? Undefined function parse. Cannot compile file. Okay, so what we actually need to do is do enum.each string comma parse x or whatever. I think. No, that doesn't make any sense. Oh, it should be like int.parse or integer.parse. Oh, maybe you can. I didn't put integer there before. Maybe maybe there is just a type of this that accepts a list. No. When not. Oh, of course. Elixir has the conditional function execution. No function clause matching integer.parse/2. Okay, so it does want. So I feel like, I mean, there must be a more ergonomic way to do this. Let's see. Elixir enum. This should have all of the stuff. So enum.map. Okay. That sounds excellent. Let's do that. Enum.map, and this will return, yeah, okay. So enum.map, and map as its second argument will take a function, integer.parse. What if I just give it the anonymous? Can I use syntax like that? No. Dot parse. Yeah, how do I declare it like this? I mean, okay, well, I guess the way that we actually declare this is we say function x integer dot parse x end, like that. Range expects both sides to be integers. Got 11 comma quotes and 11 comma quotes. Okay, so then we need to like exclamation mark this out or something like this or whatever. No. How do I discard the error on this? I'm guessing this parse returns like a possible error because parsing could fail. Yes, it returns colon equals error. Sure. So how do you get it without the error? Or how do I handle errors, right? Error handling, that's probably a good thing to just look at. So I could use the case statement, right? So how about we do it like this for now? And then do like case integer dot parse. So there should be something on, oh, try do. I don't know. Okay, let's just do this though. Case, yeah. So case integer dot parse blah 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 do. I don't know what pattern we're matching though. Right, I have no idea what pattern we're actually matching. Yeah, let's see. Error handling in Elixir. So what are the common ways to do this? Try, do, raise, oh no, rescue, E in runtime, and I don't want to use try catch. That stuff sucks. Okay, you can define your own errors. Wow, it's really try catch? No, I mean the errors are returned in a tuple. How do I just raise the tuple like with the exclamation mark one like this one did? Is that not an option? Like, I don't know. I already tried this, but did you mean parse one? Or this error messaging is very poor, I would say. Yeah, it's getting a tuple error. What I want is for lower and upper to only be the integer portions of this. Like I want it to match on like if there is any error, make it 0 or something like that. It's all this try, do, catch stuff. I mean, maybe we could map it again. Yeah, actually, we could very easily do this with dot map or enum dot map this with a function which takes a value error and then it just returns E, or it just returns V. There you go. End. variable is unused. That's intentional. Enumerables not implemented for type tuple. So I guess we just accept tuple t, Elixir tuples. What is product tuple, sum tuple, toList tuple? None of this is like what I want. Where's like, I don't know. Map. Okay, I mean the map is a data structure as well. Basic types, integer. Let's go back here. Is even, is odd, functions. So parse. It returns a integer something or other. I mean, like, it's actually a little bit confusing. But you can see it always returns this. Oh, this is the remainder. This is the remainder of the text as well in some cases. Okay. And it returns them in a tuple. Or it returns colon error. Okay. But the empty text is actually not important. So how do we just get the first part of this? Tuple. Like, can you just .1 it or something? Delete at, duplicate, insert at, product, sum, toList. How do you just get the first element? Like, how do you just get an element? Gets the number of elements in a tuple. Sure. Use a list instead. Enum functions do not work on tuples. Alright, so this whole thing will not work anyway. So do I just have to toList it and then, I mean, I guess, tuple.toList this, and then the list, I assume we can get an index. List, you can add lists. Okay, so we can get the head of the list by just saying, I don't know if I understand. Function number. Inspect. First, okay. Okay. So now we do have a real input. Sure. That felt weirdly obtuse to extract just that. It's a little bit strange, but acceptable. So now we have this lovely each loop. And for each value, we want to see So this is gonna be some kind of like stack or queue problem, probably. Uh, it's actually really weird. So you want to iterate over each digit. I might need to convert it back into a string. That's kind of funny. But we could iterate digits numerically as well. It just depends on what we want. I don't think it actually matters. Like, we actually don't care whether we're checking if a string repeats or if a set of numeric digits repeats. If we like mod 10, mod 100, mod 1000, etc. instead of that. The question is, how are we going to actually check if something repeats twice? Which is made only of some sequences of digits repeated twice. Okay, that's actually very different. So it's made only of some digits which repeat twice, which, okay, this is much easier. This means that the point at which it splits is always halfway through the ID. So we can convert it back to a string, get the length, and then compare the substring of the first half and the second half. And if they're the same, it's an invalid ID. Else, what do we add up all? We add up all the invalid IDs. Okay, so this makes it much easier. I did not realize that that was actually the specific thing. We never get a leading zero. That's not going to be a problem anyway, to be honest. We are just going to turn them all back into strings. So value.toString. Can you do that, by the way? You can't, right? If you were using the dot syntax, module.function, make sure the left-hand side of the dot is an atom representing a module. Yeah, interesting. So there's no like method syntax on an object. We just do method syntax on a module. I mean, I'm completely fine with that. I'm not a big fan of method syntax anyway, so that's totally fine. I do like maybe the Rust struct implementation a little bit better with self. Or I forget if Zig does that. Zig does something similar. I do kind of like that implementation as well, because then you can have interfaces and such, but it only makes sense if you actually have real types. Obviously, I don't really like the fact that this language is untyped. I think that's its biggest weakness, is that it's lacking strong typing. I think if this language had strong types, it would be a lot nicer to use. But you definitely shouldn't go write a TypeScript on top of it, because that's not that's not how you do strong typing. I mean, actually, maybe I would just like Haskell. I'll have to try Haskell and OCaml if we get them. I mean, we'll see. But this will be much easier. So we're going to. Well, there were two. There was like string from int, and there was also. Where's. Maybe not. There definitely was integer.toString though. Integer.toString value. And the base defaults to 10. That should be very easy. It runs fine. Then what we're going to do is, I'm guessing there's a string length. Yes, so string.length this. Is there a way to like t values so I could create like a tuple from the result of this but also still have the original? That would be kind of cool. I would guess there's some language construct that looks like that. I guess really what it is like, I would say I'm not gonna worry about it too much, but this is pretty cool. So integer toString The problem is now we're discarding the string, so we do have to say like I mean, we could just map it. I don't know. We'll say full num equals string dot or integer dot toString of value, and then we'll say string dot length full num. This is going to be the length, and what we're going to do is modify this, or we're not, what am I saying? We're not modifying it. We're going to split it in half. So we're going to find substring. Slice, okay. Returns a substring from the offset given to the start of the range, offset given by the end of the range. So this is slice. What? Are they one indexed? Oh, no. Lix is from the second. Okay, I thought this was a Lua moment for a second. I had never heard that from this language before, so I was a little bit surprised. And 3 is getting the 4th letter, not getting 3 from 1, right? No, it is range. Well, sure. At the start of the range to the offset given by the end of the range. Okay. I think I understand it, though. So we're going to do len equals this, and then first half, let's change these parens, last half equals I guess no, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I feel like there's a cooler way to do this in Elixir, but let's just this one is 0 dot dot len over 2. This one is len over 2 dot dot len. And I don't know, this needs to be like +1 or something, right? Or is it non-inclusive? Hard to say. Let's see. Maybe it has to be this -1 as well. Let's just try this. So yes, first half is unused, second half is unused. 1.0, yes, okay. Must immediately follow the range definition operator. Okay, so this is not actually that. I remember reading, I just saw that syntax and I thought it was like Python. I remember reading somewhere up here that there was a .div. Yeah, there's a div function. So div len, comma 2, div len comma 2. Okay, and that apparently works, but let's io dot puts first half dot puts second half. So for the first one, we get 11.1. Yes, so this needs to be div this minus 1. 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 8, 1, 9. What? Oh, yeah, it's checking all of them through the range. 1, 9, and then 2, 2. Has one invalid ID, 99, so at some point there should be 99 in here. And here, let's just, for clarity, let's put that in there. So we have 1, 1, we have 9, 9, we have 2, 2, somewhere, 2, 2, yeah, the question is, with a 3-digit number, which is made of only some sequence of digits repeated twice, is 999 repeated twice? 101 is a valid ID that you would ignore. 0101. Okay. So certainly this isn't. I'm curious about like 111. I don't think it matters. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Okay. But the problem doesn't sufficiently explain that, so this could be a 2-try problem. I mean, I really want to refactor this into something nicer and like more functional and concise, but I mean, it's just a stupid one. Like, if I was really trying to build real software, I would not care at all. First half and second half. So we know that we have first half and second half. If it is, then we just add value to some sum. So we just have, okay, the question is like, are variables immutable always? Right, like that's a good question. Otherwise, we could make this like a map that returns some kind of array of every one. Like it replaces every set of range with the sum of all of its values and then returns it out and adds all of them. Like dot sums the entire list. That's probably the real functional way to do this. The question is, let's see. Immutable. Due to immutability, recursion is a big part of Elixir. Okay, so assumably if I say like sum equals 0 and then sum equals sum plus 1, I won't even assume that it has that, but variable sum is unused. I actually didn't complain about that at all. So io.puts sum. Okay, variables aren't even are local. There's probably a way to have a global, but yeah, this doesn't work functionally. So in that case, we're going to mess with this a little bit. So instead of range each, so I assume the difference between map and each invokes the given function for each element in enumerable. Map returns a list where each element is the result of invoking function on each corresponding element of enumerable. So we're going to want to turn this into a map that is a function this. And do you implicitly return the last value of a statement? Is that how functions work? Modules and functions. I mean, we can just see. Let's just put like 5 at the end of this, and then io.puts that. Huh. Apparently no. Is there a return keyword? No, there's no return keyword. That's not a thing. So function x anonymously returns x times x end. So can we say like some value equals io or equals that, and then io dot puts some value. It just doesn't print anything. Not sure what's happening there. But let's make this also map. And that actually does return all of the numbers. Even if we delete those? No, it's specifically... And do we get different numbers? Yes, we get different numbers if we do this. So then if we say like, if, so we can actually if, right? I remember seeing control flow like that somewhere. If false, do that. Okay, so if do test, else do invalid, else valid, end. There we go. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So yes, this does work. Instead of doing that, we'll just io.puts this whole thing. Or like, if we don't do that, okay, no, the file doesn't print. Because I think in the REPL, it will just print the, yeah. Okay. So, if it's valid, it's 0. And if it's invalid, then it is value. Okay. And then on this map, wherever this map ends, we're gonna sum that. Okay, we don't sum like that though. We sum like map every. Oh, interesting. Okay, but there's probably some kind of sum. No, is there like to list? Yeah, there is. enum dot to list. Or I assume we can just list dot sum actually. Undefined function list.sum is undefined or private. Really? That looks exactly like how I would want to call list.sum. Maybe we do have to... what am I doing? I cannot type right now. Or is there just not a list sum? No, there isn't. Was tuple the only one that had sum? Only tuple had sum. Computes the sum of tuple elements. So can we do tuple? Yes, we can. Or maybe we can just tuple.sum on it. First argument, not a tuple. Okay, so sum on list.toTuple. So let's stop printing this for now and just run this. That works. Can we io.puts the result of this sum? Yes, we can. Okay. And then what if we take this map? So now this is equal to that value, right? Very nicely. This is equal to that value. And then we can sum this whole thing. So here we can so we're mapping. The map returns a list. Then we list.toTuple this. There must be a nicer way to do this, but tuple.sum. Okay. And then io.puts. Are we... Oh, hell yeah. Okay. I feel pretty good with that. Let's, I think it would be funny if we... Yeah, I don't know what the format would want with this one. There we go. Single function. We have the single function Elixir solution. I kind of like that. That's kind of fun. So let's try to run it on real input now. So for D or for X. Okay, that didn't work very nicely. Are some of the ranges backwards. Huh? Negative steps are not supported in string.slice 2. What line is this? Anonymous function, line 5. So this is failing. Wow, that's like really slow. 119. What's it so upset about? When last is less than first. What are you? And then it's annoyed about all the slices, apparently. What? But it's not mad, like 119. Well, I guess it should be noted. Oh, this is smaller than that. This is smaller than that. So did it not print anything here? That's definitely strange. I mean, I'll try the solution. We'll see if it works. No, it's wrong. It's too high. That's what I... well, obviously with the error, that's what I think. Why are there empty lines here? Why are they weird? I think there's a weird type thing happening that I can't catch because apparently no types. Let's see. Elixir get type info. How do you check the type of a variable? Has an I command. Hello? Bro. Okay. Is binary, I guess, is what we want actually. When are these getting triggered? I'm so confused. Like, what is happening here when they're getting triggered? One through 19. And then this, and before it is the 616 whatever option one. Oh, this one. No, this one's smaller than this one. Like, hello? What? When last is less than first. Negative steps are not supported in string slice 2. Why is it taking negative steps? What is it thinking? Okay, I feel pretty good about this language. I do not feel very good about debugging this language or errors or anything. Because this literally tells me completely nothing. So apparently all of these errors are happening on line 5. Which just can't be true in the first place. How can all of these be happening on line 5? But who knows, maybe it has to do with this division or something. I don't know. Let's try printing all the lengths. Wow, that's very slow. But no negative lengths or anything? Wait, didn't it not error there? Or am I crazy? Or was it just going so fast that you didn't see them? I don't think there was any warning message in that one. Did I get a different solution? 538. No. Okay, that's good because that would have been unfortunate. But what the hell is happening with this? I'm confused right now. Nothing in the input is invalid. Okay, that has 0 errors at all. If we convert them to a string, we have an arithmetic error because variable full num is unused. Okay. Let's get length. Now length is unused. Okay, now it's upset. Okay, so it does have to do with my length calculation. So let's see, 1 to 19. So the full number, and we are going from 0 to length divided by 2 minus 1. So this could be 0 to 0. Okay, so if we IEX, hello world string.length is 11, and then string.length of h is 1, and 0 dot dot that minus 1 is 0 dot dot 0. Okay. String dot slice. Let's make this 1 so that it's accurate to what I'm trying to do. So string dot slice one that huh? Oh. Yeah, that returns 1. Just like you would expect. Second half though. Okay, this is what's messing it up, I guess. I haven't split a string in a long time. Is there just a different function to split a string that I don't have to do all of this? At capitalized chunk code points contains downcase duplicate ends with equivalent first graphemes gyro distance last length match Myers difference next code point next grapheme size normalize pad leading pad trailing printable replace leading replace prefix replace suffix replace trailing reverse slice split divides a string into substrings at each Unicode whitespace occurrence. Okay, that just splits it on whitespace. This splits it on a pattern. Split at. Okay, well that's what we want. So first, last, first last equals string dot split at full name comma divide len 2. Match errors. No match of right hand side. What does this return? Why does this not work? Is the intuitiveness dead? I thought it was so intuitive. So if we io.puts first and then we put last and we don't compare them, of course we're gonna get an error about what? Wait, it has nothing to do with the comparison? I thought that's what they meant by left hand, right hand side. No match of right hand side value. Sure. Part 2 is gonna destroy me, isn't it? This is not good. But why is the length like this? Like, what? Why is it messing up so much? This should be pretty simple, right? Or am I crazy? So obviously we can just define first, then last is undefined. And we can io.puts first even. For type tuple. Okay. There was definitely syntax for this. Oh, you can use lm to access elements of a tuple. Hello. Where did I do that? That was really annoying. List.first element. Yeah, let's replace this with lm integer.parseX, comma 0. Okay, now we're still getting this. We can access the head and tail of a list as follows. So it should be the tuple one. Like this, I feel like should have the info on this. Equals okay example. Yeah, so you can do this. Okay, so maybe I have to do that. Oh, let's go. Okay, the question is this a different answer? I don't actually think that I changed my answer. Oh, I did. Okay. Finally. Okay, that took a little bit longer than I would have wanted to at the end, especially for just one incorrect type of parenthesis. That's like a little bit stupid. But I am glad we solved the entire problem in one function. And ideally, now that it's like this, let's do a little refactor. So we can do string.length full num. And then full num equals integer dot. Okay, I don't want to replace that necessarily. I'm not sure how you would want to. But that seems like a pretty reasonable way to split it. If first equals last. And you could probably write a function that was like mapping this instead. Like you could probably, instead of even storing these to a variable, you could enum.map. Except I'm not sure you can even enumerate a tuple. I guess you can. I don't know. But this actually works excellently. All right, so we have our first star. Now we're going to see how disastrous this is. Hopefully we have a really good solution that can just solve it quickly, but we'll see. The court quickly discovers that there are still, first, before I forget, the last time I didn't do this, let's save this to part2.exs. Write part2.exs. And what? Okay. Did I write it out here? Yeah, I did. Okay. Yes. Okay. Excellent. So now we're in part 2. And we can solve this lovely thing. So part 2 invalid IDs in the ranges in your list. Maybe the young elf was doing other silly patterns as well. Now an ID is invalid if it is made only of some sequence of digits repeated at least twice. Oh my god, this is exactly what I was fearing. This is what I thought we had to solve initially. So 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 and 1 1 1 1 1 are all invalid IDs. From the same example as before, yes, 1 1 1 is now invalid, etc. So now we can't just split it in half and check. We have to do something more complex. So naive solution brain, we can check for half, then we can check for 3, then we can check for 4, then we can check for 5, then we can check for 6, etc. until we've checked every digit to repeat. That is probably really stupid. What else can we do? So first let's change this back to test input. So part 2, we run it real quick and we get that. Excellent. So all right. Thinking. Yeah, I'm not really sure what the best solution is for this. I think the thing that I mentioned works. We could check down every single one, but that sounds actually pretty annoying to code, like poor architecturally, because there's a lot of edge cases you have to check, and you have to break out if you, like, you have to break if you find it early. You would have to a bunch of stuff like that. I don't know. I haven't thought about it all the way through, but there's a lot of stuff like that. Like, you'd want to break early because you don't want to count like a 1 1 1 1 as repeating 4 times and repeating 2 times. But I guess each individual thing can only be counted once anyway, so that's not really a problem. But I don't know. What are we going to do? So let's think about this. So it's still true that they need to be, we don't have to like consider any n size sequence. Like 1157 is still valid. We don't have to check for any repeat anywhere. We just have to check for if the whole number contains some n times repeating digit. Yes. Which we could, so I guess there's 2 different routes. We could do what I said and break it down from checking it from the middle, then checking each third, then checking each fourth, etc. like that. Or we could check if something repeats twice, but that doesn't actually work, because something could repeat twice and then not repeat a third time, and that's invalid, or that's valid. So we can't actually do that strategy. So I still can only think of what I thought of, which is breaking it down until we're checking each digit. I mean, yeah, it should work. All right, let's try it. So maybe we'll even write a function to do this, right? Like a function that you pass it a string and n, and then it returns you n slices of the string in a list of equal length and order. I think that would make a lot of sense, unless the standard library already has that, but I don't think it does. So what, we got down to split. Split on a pattern. Split at splitter. To float, to integer, trim, 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 trim. Uppercase, valid. Okay, let's write a function for it. How do we even define like a function in this sense? I know that we can just assign a value to an anonymous function. Is that the only way you do a function? Is that like the... I don't really want to call it with dot syntax, right? But I guess the other way you do it is with a module. So, define, yeah, okay. I mean, let's just make it an anonymous function then. Split by equals fn, which takes string and n, and it returns something. So we're going to say so n is 3, for example. We need to split, we need to calculate, so we do that divided by that. Yep, so element, or sorry, enum dot map zero dot dot n, comma current, and we're going to map that into, so string dot split at, but not split at, we'll just do a slice. So string dot slice string, and we're going to do it from n, so n, or from cur, let's make it single r current. So from current, which will be 0 on the first iteration, to current plus current plus current plus n, or I don't know, current. So we want to go from 0. So here, I need an example for me to think about this, right? So we're going to have an example. It's going to be split hello 3 ways. So we have 0, 1, 2. And actually, are we going to loop through n or n minus 1? It's n minus 1, right? Is range both inclusive, yeah, okay. Sure. So what we expect from this is to get HELL and O, I think. So the total length of this string is 5. So we need to split 5 into 3 equal segments. So 5 divided by 3 is, here, wait, we can use IEX. Come on. Alright, so yeah, we have rounded to 2 but less than 1. So, and if you go out of range on slice, you get an empty string, right? So I need to actually calculate this correctly, or I take like the max of that and that. Not really sure. Also, wait, we need to check string dot slice hello like 3.1. Okay, but 3.04. Okay, good. That's what we expect. So I mean, I guess first of all, if it doesn't evenly divide by that number, we can just discard it because it doesn't matter. So I suppose we can just assume that this will always have the correct number, or we can do that ourselves. Like, we can just say, like, is there a nice thing on float that will just be like, rounds a floating point value to an arbitrary number of fractional digits, parse floor seal, ratio, I mean, yeah, but basically if we floor it and compare, yeah, so if string dot length, so yeah, I think this works. So string dot length, string dot length of what though? String dot length. Come on. Like, I mean, yes, obviously of string, but I'm thinking about other things. I'm sorry. I need to explain my thoughts. So, string dot length of string len equals that. If n divided by len is not equal to n divided by, or floor n divided by len, do empty list of nothing. Right, that's what we return. Else end. Right, so something like that. Does that even like function at all? So current plus, sorry, now we have to get back to this. Current plus n over len. So split by is not used. So yes, this does actually work. The problem is this is going to be an int or a float. I guess it doesn't really matter. It'll just cast or something, right? So current plus n divided by len. I don't know, maybe it works, right? Surely maybe it works. So instead of this, we're going to say, so first of all, I'm going to get rid of this. I don't think we need that anymore for sure. So we're going to split by, so enum.map from 2 to len. And we'll bring back the len variable. String.length full num. Right, so from 2 to len, enum.map we are going to function n. Let's get rid of that end there. So yes, this. So from 2 to len, so we'll start at 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, up to the length of the string, so the number of characters is the max we're going to be splitting on. And that should be 1 and 1, and then it will check on each one. So it will start at 0, and then it will go 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. This should actually be -1 though, I think. This is really hard with the off by 1 errors and stuff. This kind of thing absolutely sucks for that sort of thing. But I do think this is -1. Because in the example of, let's say you have a 6 long, like, 6 long word string, for example, you want that split into 3 different parts. 3 divided by 6 is 2. Cur is, so 0 is from, so n is 3, so you're going 0 to n minus 1. What was I thinking with that? Oh, because you're going to return that many things. So on 0, you're going to look at 0. 0 plus 3 divided by 6. So 0 plus 2 is 2. So it would be 0 to 2, but then it's going to be 0 to 1, which is correct. And then on the next one, it's going to be 1. 1 to, oh, yeah, but this doesn't work. We don't actually want current. We want current, like, times something. Like current times this or something. IDX equals current times n divided by len. And then these are both IDX, I think. So, oh, order of operations does matter there. I thought it didn't for a second. So index is going to be 0 to 0 plus 1 instance of this constant. And let's actually just do ratio equals n over len. Ratio. So of course split by is not like that, but of course we're calling split by with this dot syntax that was described somewhere down here. So it's split by dot full num comma n. Ranges expect both sides to be integers. Got 0.0 to 0.0. Okay, so now we have to integer convert these. So index equals this. Where's integer? Integer is here. Parse. Pow, to Carlos, to string, undigits. Returns the integer representation of the ordered digits. How do you turn a float into... Does floor give you an integer? The operator is performed. I'm not too sure. These still return oh, I should just look it up. Elixir float to int. It's trunk. Okay. So IDX is definitely going to be trunked, and we're also going to trunk ratio here, which should force this to be a bad argument in arithmetic expression. Does trunk actually return? So where is this happening? I don't understand what this is even saying. Like 14 file. Like, what are you talking about? Bad argument in arithmetic expression. 1 plus 0. I'm guessing that's this. So io.puts idx. Let's inspect it. No, that's pretty normal. Oh, is it just because we're trying to sum them? And it's not working? Because this does not return. Let's see if we just put like 5 at the end of that. Okay, yes, it is upset about this. Yeah, it's just upset about that. Okay, so this is actually working, maybe. io.puts. So this is creating some split by whatever. Then we need to map on that. So we need to map this map into a new map. So this is, and actually we don't really want to map them. Yeah, map isn't the right term. We want to check if all elements are equal. Is there something like that? Take random. Okay, let's see. There's a lot of functions, but all returns in all if all elements are truthy. Okay, what if they are all equal? Is that a thing? Empty. Enumerates the enumerable by removing the elements for which function returned duplicate elements. The function fund maps. What is this? It returns. It's max. Min by sort unique by yeah, I don't know about this. We don't want to zip it. That's not really what we want. Oh, maybe we do, kind of. No, that's not what we want. We just want to see if every element is equal, which functionally is a little bit weird to do. I guess we could do an all. So we could do an all on if fun element is truthy for all elements. So can we say, this might not be allowed, but can we say enum.all question mark, I guess the question mark is a part of it, enum.all this comma this comma function which is going to check if it's a function, it takes an x and it's going to check if x is equal to I guess we need to parts equals split by dot full num n, and then this is parts, and then we need to capture parts again, otherwise this might not be allowed. So x equals parts dot at 1 enum dot at parts comma 1 okay, we have an unclosed delimiter which is fun, so we need an end on the fun. Okay, so that actually works apparently. So yes, so io.puts that. Okay, we are getting different values. Okay. Right now we are summing the values of this, and this is mapping, so this is mapping a set of tests into this. So what we want is if any of these are, so if any of these are true, or if any of these alls are true, right? So map, so then we have a collection of true and false, and if any of the trues and falses in one of these are true, then we add value. Yes, so any, so enum.any, any question mark. So if any of these are truthy, then, so if that, do value, else do 0, end. Okay, that is an actual number. I don't think it's the right number though. I think we're wildly off. Maybe not wildly off. Are we in the same order of magnitude even? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, we're one order of magnitude too large. So we obviously have lots of false positives going on. And I do not like debugging this. But let's just print all the parts. That is the best we can do. So io.puts parts. So a ton of the parts are empty, but that's to be expected. 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 8, 1, 9, 9. So this actually works correctly. So I guess we actually want to put like else io dot puts string n. Okay, so this doesn't format like infinitely like that. It's very hard to go in here and get stuff out. So the question is it like some of them are valid. So in the first set we get a few valids. So 11 is invalid, 12, 13, wait, we can very easily put this. Okay, there we go. So $11 is invalid, 22 is invalid. Those are correct. Are we running part 1? Am I stupid? No, we are running part 2, and we are writing code in part 2. Yes. So all of these are invalid. Many of these are valid. So why does, for example, 101 signal invalid, right? That would be the question. So 101 comes in here, and then So yeah, we do have to kind of put parts, I guess. Is the difference just the empty ones? Yeah, yeah. So the empty ones just have to be discarded. So parts equals split by, but it also is going to equal like basically just filter all of them. I'm sure there's like a filter or something. Yeah. So, or even like drop every returns of a list, drops amount. There must be a way to just remove empty. But filter is what that does. So enum.filter this on a function that takes f and then says enum.empty question mark f. And not that, right? Protocol enumerable not implemented for bit string. Got value 1. Huh? Oh. Whatever, just do that. Okay, it still didn't work, but it's way better. So we did actually get rid of, or no, we didn't. I just stopped printing parts. Yeah, no, it's still happening. This doesn't want to filter like that. If it doesn't equal an empty list, I guess. What? Why is it? That doesn't help. So this happens because, of course, the second iteration of that isn't a valid subdivision. As we get bigger, there should be more subdivisions in here that work, that should go through. So something here is not working either. And that's just in the function. Let's not worry about that right now. F map to F does not equal empty array list. Why is this so hard? I don't know if I like this language anymore. I do think I still like it, but wait, what? Okay, I was really confused by that. Alright, indentation being over. Full number. So what the heck is happening? So only the n equals len case is working. Really? I'm doing it the wrong way. God damn it. Wait, is that right? No. We got the same thing because we're still invalid on all of these. But if we stop writing that, maybe we have more maybe we have more parts. Yeah, we do have more parts. Okay. That is always good. So I think I'm just evaluating it wrong now from a different perspective, which is we actually don't care about this. Right, because we don't actually error through any of this. We just have parts, which is this, and then we say and then we could say like if parts if enum dot empty parts do else do this and here we could just do 0. Or what do we want this to be, truthy or falsy? We want it to be falsy because we're checking for any. So there we go. So this actually does what you would want. Now the question is, when you get to 100, so let's take this out and assign it to a variable like t, and then if any t, but then say like print or io.puts t, and we can't actually write t. True, comma 10. What? Are you kidding me? It's because 0 isn't falsy. Ah, okay. Okay, let's see if this works on the larger input. What? Okay, there we go. Oh boy, it's slow. That doesn't look good. We're still gonna test it. Wait. I love when it's warning, but it still works. That is not great though, you could say. I would like to fix this, but I am running out of time. That took longer than I wanted it to, so I'm not gonna bother fixing this bug or this warning or whatever. I'm just gonna ignore it for now. Clearly, this only triggers in a falsy case anyways, what's going on, so it doesn't matter, but I would like to handle this correctly, obviously, by somehow wrapping this so that doesn't go into it, and etc. But we did get a fairly nice, like, functional looking solution here. I mean, it's a little bit functional. I think if it was like a clean functional, like the way that you make this actually clean, this was not clean. Obviously it was horrible to debug, and the reason for that was because I just stacked everything on top of each other. Really, like, if I wanted this to be clean, I would separate things out into separate functions that would do like 2 of these things together and then condense them together and have smaller blocks that build on each other, that kind of thing, and that would create like a more clean functional style. But I'm not really a big fan of that anyway, and I'm just trying to get the problem done. It does take an absurdly long time in Elixir to solve this. This isn't really doing that much computation, I would think. And as far as I can tell, Elixir doesn't have any kind of like, the maps aren't automatically parallelized, at least. I could have looked into doing things in parallel, but the hard part about doing things in parallel here would be how to construct the parallel results back into arrays. I'm sure if you know Elixir, it's very easy to do, but I decided not to worry about it. So this is all for now. That actually worked. I'm actually really surprised that that did work. But yep, apparently 0 is not truthy, and that took me a million years, so to debug. So very fun. All right, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.